What a way to start my new life. The perfect egg sandwich.
I love you.
Bacon, egg, cheese, and just a dash of hot sauce.
Not too much, Sal.
I want to taste that cheese.
Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Binging with Babish, where this week we're taking a look at the perfect egg sandwich from Birds of Prey. Now, as Margot Robbie mentioned during her interview on Hot Ones, she is allergic to chicken eggs. As such, her egg sandwich was made with duck eggs, which luckily I have a few left over from that episode the other week. But for now, we gotta make the bread in question, which to me looked like ciabatta. We're gonna start by making a pre-ferment of 177 grams of all-purpose flour, a 1/16 of a teaspoon of instant yeast, and 177 grams of room temperature water in this recipe from King Arthur flour. We're gonna mix that together until it resembles a slightly too thick pancake batter wrapped tightly in plastic wrap. Let it sit at room temperature for 8 hours and then refrigerate overnight, after which point it will look something like this. A little bit darker with lots of tiny little bubbles. And unlike the initial mixture of water and flour, it has become stretchy, gloopy, and a little smelly in a nice fermenty kind of way. Now onto the main dough. We need to measure out 361 grams of all-purpose flour, add 1 packet or about 7 grams of instant yeast, 2 teaspoons or about 12 grams of kosher salt, 2 tablespoons or about 14 grams of instant non-fat milk, the entirety of our pre-ferment, which is going to give our ciabatta some deeper, more complex flavor, 152 grams of lukewarm water, and 3 tablespoons or about 35 grams of olive oil. Go ahead and lower your mixer head with the what the hell was that? Oh, it was the little thing that goes in the thing. Once you have your thing all dry, just shove it in the thing and make sure that the thing is tight. Then once all of your things are in the right place, it's time to crank on the mixer and give this dough a light mix using the paddle attachment until it just comes together. At which point we're going to scrape the dough off the paddle and affix dough hooks. Getting ready to knead this guy on medium-low speed for 7 to 8 minutes until it's smooth and shiny and sticky and, as Paul Hollywood would say, a bit slack. Ciabatta dough is indeed a very high hydration dough, but it's going to become much more handleable after it's hung out in a well-oiled bowl for about 3 hours. First, we're going to use the dough's stickiness to roll it taut like this, before dropping in the bowl, covering tightly with plastic wrap and letting it sit at room temperature for 2 to 3 hours or until it has more than doubled in size. Now, next up, we want to encourage gluten development without deflating all the beautiful bubbles in our dough. So using an oiled rubber spatula, we're going to fold the dough in on itself, turning the bowl as we go 8 times. Now, I know what you're saying, Babish, that's not going to do anything. Well, hang on to your pants because we're covering it, letting it rest for another 30 minutes, and then doing it again. Now, I know what you're saying, Babish, that's also not going to do anything. Well, you know what? It totally does, so what do you have to say to that? That's what I thought. Anyway, after another 30 minutes, we are turning our dough out onto a well-floured work surface and coaxing it out into a large rectangle, popping any huge bubbles you see as you go, but trying to maintain the smaller ones, and then we're trimming it down to our desired sizes. The loaves in the movie kind of look like a 6-inch sandwich loaf to me, so I'm going with maybe a 4x6 or 4x8-inch rectangle, all of which I'm going to place on a heavily floured piece of parchment paper set in a rim baking sheet, which I can then cover with an inverted rim baking sheet to let these guys proof at room temperature for 1 hour. Much easier and much less sticky than plastic wrap. Then I'm going to cut the parchment in half, spritz these guys down generously with plain old water, sprinkle with a little bit more flour, and then using a pizza peel, I'm going to drop them onto a preheated pizza stone set in a 450-degree Fahrenheit oven. There they shall bake for 18 to 20 minutes until browned and puffed and smelling just totally completely awesome. I'm going to brush off some of the excess flour, and then we're going to let these guys cool on a rack for at least 1 hour, both for the sake of our delicate little fingers and because we don't want to ruin the bread's texture by cutting into it too soon. Then I'm going to use a shallow rim baking sheet as a sort of cutting template, utilizing a long bread knife so we can get this thing sandwich ready. Now over on the stovetop, we're putting 4 thin slices of bacon in a heavy cast iron pan, topping those with about a half a cup of water and setting over medium heat. This helps more fat render out from the bacon so it cooks a little bit more evenly. Once all the water is evaporated and the bacon begins to brown, go ahead and give it a flip and cook it to your degree of desired doneness. Then we're obviously going to throw away all this disgusting bacon grease. I'm just kidding. Let's throw the ciabatta down in the bacon fat. I know Sal uses a brush to apply the bacon fat in the movie, but he was working on a big old flat top and I'm just making everything in one pan. So back into the pan goes a little bit of extra bacon fat, and Sal cracks both eggs with one hand at the same time. So I'm going to see if I can do the same. Try not to squeeze too hard. Oh, I'm going to break the yolk. I'm going to break the yolk. I didn't break the yolk. Maybe this isn't so hard. Oh, okay. That seems a little more like me. Don't worry, none of this egg is going to go to waste. There's always room for an ugly breakfast sandwich in the Babish household. And much more carefully, into the pan go the 2 ducks' eggs. We are frying these bad boys sunny side side up, waiting for the edges to get nice and brown and crispy and most of the whites to set, festooning them with 2 slices of American cheese and covering until the cheese melts and the whites are completely set with the yolks still runny. Then it looked to me like Sal was using Red Devil hot sauce in the movie, so I'm gonna hit it with a few glugs and then top up the bacon on the bottom half of the sandwich with the eggs and cheese and bring it over to the worktop for final assembly. Then, true to bodega sandwich form, we're gonna wrap this guy in parchment paper. To do so, I'm gonna fold up both sides over the top of the sandwich and start creasing down about an inch wide strip till I reach the sandwich itself and then press it down flat, and then it's time to tuck in the sides. We're gonna start by pressing the bottom half of the wrapper underneath the sandwich and then tucking the top half in over top of that. I don't know wrapping vernacular, guys, I'm sorry. There are probably other YouTube channels that show you how to do this really clearly and concisely, but hopefully you get the gist from looking at it. Then we're going to cut the sandwich in half through the paper, leaving it connected at the bottom so we can do the famous egg sandwich cut in half shot. Gorgeous. I was pretty excited to try this because I wasn't sure how it would taste with duck eggs. First, let me just give this sandwich a little scoot out the wrapper. And I gotta say, I was pleasantly surprised. If anything, duck eggs just have a more intense egg flavor, with just a hint of kind of a grassy sweetness. And ciabatta makes for a great breakfast sandwich vessel. It's chewy and flavorful, but it's also light and tender enough that it's not squishing everything around. Now I'm just gonna eat this as fast as I can before Rosie Perez makes me drop it.